happening? What's happening? Hey, it's your boy Lil John. It's about that time now. About that time. Turn this thing on out. Now let me see everybody do this. Hey, let's go.
We didn't do the claps.
There's a lot of us talking in the beginning, so I think you can sync that. Ooh.
I can find it.
2 mugs.
Welcome back to 2 Mugs.
Halloween edition.
We have a pumpkin mug.
We do have a pumpkin mug. I don't have one.
No.
I still have the Gryffindor mug, but
It's
okay.
yeah, that's very
Or make it
Halloween
do.
too.
Yeah. I'm Jake Wood,
I'm Trista Keaton.
and this is a podcast where we talk about insane news stories from the past and the present. So,
It's true.
Trista, what you got on the agenda for us today?
Okay. So, I have a personal story to start.
Okay.
So whenever me and my brother would like go and visit our dad in Kentucky, he had 4-wheelers. So got to ride around on these ATVs, and it was like kind of off the like main road, and it was a gravel road like all the way back. People call it a hauler over there. And
Interesting.
There was always these like turtles, and they would like be in the middle of the road like all the time, and if you weren't careful, you would squish them. I would never squish them.
I believe you.
I would never do that, but that's when we found out they were a protected species, because one day Evan did run over one, and we were like, oh no, this poor turtle. And they're box turtles, so they're a protected species in America for some reason. They're I think they're on the endangered species list. I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, as long as we're not killing turtles, I'm fine with it.
yeah, he didn't mean to. He just ran him over on accident. They always try to cross the road, but they too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my story takes place in Burlington, Vermont,
Okay.
when a woman from China on summer vacation got together almost 30 box turtles and tried to bring them into Canada.
Trying to smuggle them
Yeah,
out.
she was like, I'm going to bring these over here. So the official court report said she pled guilty Friday, October 11th, attempting to smuggle 29 eastern box turtles, a protected species, across a Vermont lake into Canada by kayak. So she was pulled over by the national, like, reserves, like, people who, like
on a boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who, like, oversee, like, the parks and stuff. And she had tried to get away with it. She had to wait 3.5 months to see a judge, and she was just trying to appear sorry, I guess, by pleading guilty. Like, I wonder what kind of consequences. Like, smuggling, like, across borders is a big thing, but I don't know what that, like, means in regards to animals.
Yeah. Because I know animal smuggling is a thing. Or,
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of connected to poaching in the same way, like where you're smuggling, like, ivory and stuff that you're not supposed to be smuggling.
Yeah.
But I don't imagine it'd be as serious as, you know, like drug trafficking.
Yeah. Or just, like, going over and crossing borders illegally, something like that. So, so the morning of June 28th, that's when, like, she did this. She didn't do it in October. That's just when she was convicted. She had an Airbnb, and she got into an inflatable kayak with a duffel bag on Lake Wallace, and according to a Border Patrol agent's affidavit filed in federal court, she just started paddling them over. Just tried to get him across the border, and that's when they like pulled her over when she officially like crossed, because then she had officially like committed the crime. So agents had been notified by Royal Canadian Mounted Police that 2 other people, including a man who was believed to be her husband, had started to paddle an inflatable watercraft from the Canadian side of the lake towards the United States. So I'm wondering if they were going to make a trade-off and like meet in the middle.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Sure.
They didn't. Her husband wasn't charged with anything because he technically didn't do anything. She didn't make it as far
True.
over.
So he was on the other side. He was in
Yeah.
Canada.
He was in
preparing to
Canada.
receive
Yeah.
the 30 box turtles.
Yes. 29.
Okay. 29. Okay.
Yeah. So
One escaped, I guess.
No. The agents searched her heavy duffel bag and found 29 live eastern box turtles wrapped in socks. They were alive, but eastern box turtles are known to be sold on the Chinese black market for $1,000 each.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
She was about to make $29,000.
Yeah, and also, like, I feel like I'm taking more turtles.
Yeah. Like,
if you're going to commit this crime, like, I'm going to amuse, like, 30,000.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, like.
We can get way more turtles.
That's not worth a prison sentence. You know, like, just work a job at that point.
Yeah. So they know that it was, like, connected to this kind of black market sales because her cell phone was seized.
Oh.
And,
Uh-oh.
yeah, it showed, like, text messages in between her and, like, someone in Hong Kong who was, like, she had someone from Hong Kong staying in Canada, but she was in the United States in an Airbnb. So I'm thinking that they live in Canada from Hong Kong, but went to the United States for, like, a summer vacation and then brought the turtles from the East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know where, like, eastern box turtles, because they're normally, like, southern. I don't know how many there are in Canada, but I bet there's more in Vermont, if I had to, like, guess.
Yeah. This like makes me wonder how, like, premeditated this was. Like, all right, we're gonna go to America. You're gonna sit on the other side. I'm gonna deliver you these turtles.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring, like.
This is genius,
Like,
and we will not get caught.
And you know, you'd think, like, because all these different characters involved, and, like, the fact that she intended to smuggle it, you know, with the text, shows that there was planning involved. But once again, that's the question.
Yeah.
Why just 29 of them?
Exactly. Get way more turtles than that. Like, camp out. Like,
is
stay
the
in
Chinese
Vermont.
economy that bad? It can't be that bad.
30,000. bad.
30,000.
Yeah. So she was, I wonder if she, like, had, like, any more, like, stocked in her Canadian house. Because they didn't end up searching that property, I don't think. But what if she just had, like, a bunch of turtles piled up, waiting for later? Just be like,
So
I've
like,
collected this many, and I have brought my 30 back. But I think she only got to 29.
dang.
See,
I mean, there's always the possibility she had made trips prior.
Yeah,
'cause
that's what
obviously this was authorities were alerted by the RCMP, the Canadian FBI, for those listening, basically. You know, they had to be, like, watching her.
Yeah.
You know, watching this go down.
Doing.
You know, I don't
She's
think
doing
you.
nefarious things.
I don't think you just automatically assume smuggling, like, on the first, like, go around. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like oh, by the way, you just entered Canada. You should probably turn around, gang.
Yeah.
You know, like, the tip-off had to.
What about
there's
her
probably,
said smuggling?
Like, yeah, there's probably, like, a history where they've watched this go down once, and they're like, not again.
Yeah, so she's scheduled to be sentenced in December and faces up to 10 years in prison.
Oh.
And a fine up to $250,000. So
Damn.
she didn't even have enough turtles to cover the fine.
No. You are.
If I'm committing a crime, I'm gonna do the most for it.
Yeah.
Like, the fine needs to be of equal value of, like, the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, because, you know, either I'll gain that amount or lose it, you know. That's crazy. To 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
41. She's 41 years old.
Dang.
You're going to spend, like, your 40 to 50s, like, in a Canadian prison?
Yeah, that's
Brutal.
it's not fun.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, for $30,000.
Not worth it.
No.
Yeah. So,
That's pretty wild.
box turtles.
Hey, don't
Don't be
smuggle
crushing
those
no
turtles,
turtles
man.
either.
Don't crush them either. I'm a big turtle supporter and tortoise supporter. I have a tortoise at home.
Yeah, Jake's tortoise.
Shout out the tortoise.
Ong.
He's a good man.
He's a very good man.
Loves walking.
As
just doesn't stop
most
walking.
turtles do.
Indeed.
What you got, Jake? I'm excited.
So,
Is it about turtles?
no, it's another T word.
Is it?
It is. So we just talked about prison, right? I'm sure in the end, she got sentenced to jail, right?
Oh.
I'm sure she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
no
probably
one,
not.
No one really wants to go to prison.
I don't want to go.
And we talk a lot about like famous jailbreaks, like the one from Alcatraz and whatnot. I know in my studies of Northern Ireland, there's a bunch of historic IRA breakouts of jails. And it's also like a common trope in like movies and TV shows. You ever seen like
Jail
a movie
breakout,
that
yeah.
involves some form of escape?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like it's something people think about a lot. People in prison, I'm sure, like, I got to get out of here. And people on the outside are like, how did these people get out of there? But I have a question. Could you escape prison if you had no hands?
Like the Waka Flocka song.
Yeah. If you had the Waka Flocka song, No Hands, playing the entire time, could you escape jail?
Yes.
Now, what if you had none of these?
No.
Okay. So, this story occurred in 1979. We're
going back.
We're bringing the historical aspect back.
Going back.
And the headline reads, "A maimed terrorist flees cell at Bellevue." There's the T word for you. So effectively, I need to give a little bit of background. Let me pull up the article real quick to reference it also. Basically, as we've established in one of our previous episodes, the 1970s, crazy time for political violence in the United States, for many different causes. We talked a little bit about sort of revolutionary leftist political violence and whatnot. But alongside this was the cause of Puerto Rican independence. So obviously, people have probably seen the recent Trump rally where they make a Puerto Rican joke. That's like caused a lot of controversy. But, a little known fact about Puerto Rico is that there was basically like an insurgency to fight for Puerto Rican independence from the 60s to the early 2000s. Little known fact. So one of the groups involved in this was called the Armed Forces of National Liberation, or FALN. It's a Spanish acronym. They're second-generation Puerto Ricans. So after World War II, a bunch of Puerto Ricans moved to the mainland U.S., mostly to New York and Chicago and other major cities. They carried out a crazy bombing campaign from 1974 to 1983.
When you say bombing campaign, do you mean like exploding bombs?
Yeah, like blowing stuff up.
Okay.
They set off, I think, around 120 bombs throughout their existence.
That's a lot of bombs.
Yeah, that was their main tactic. They did a bunch of other stuff, like they attempted bank robberies and whatnot.
Whoa.
They raided the campaign offices of the Jimmy Carter, Walter Mondale campaign, and I think the George H.W. Bush one as well. They raided both because obviously they're voting third party.
Sick.
But yeah. So crazy group, super prolific, probably the most prolific, terrorist or militant organization the U.S. has ever seen domestically. So let me introduce you to a man named William Morales, also known as Willie Morales. Well, we might just call him Willie for the rest of the episode. So he was the FALN's bomb technician.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that they had one of those.
Yeah, he was the guy probably behind most of the bombings that took place until a certain point. That point was July 1978. So he was making a bomb in one of their safe houses in I believe, New York City.
Okay.
The bomb blew up prematurely. And it
oh my gosh.
blew off 9 of his fingers.
Oh
so,
my gosh.
For reference, see this?
We have 10 fingers.
I have 10. Watch this.
Oh my gosh. He only had a thumb?
I don't remember exactly what finger he didn't blow off, but he lost pretty much all, like his hands got blown off. Effectively.
I think it's important to know what finger he had. I really need to know.
It's either his pinky or his thumb. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
And he also really messed his face up during this. And in fact, actually prior to this, they had not arrested any members of the FALN. They had no idea. They had a kind of an idea, like the FBI and whatnot, of who was involved.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a really clear picture.
They weren't gonna like go and knock on doors because they didn't.
No, because they had no idea.
Yeah.
But him blowing himself up, obviously people are going to notice that. They're going to go like, yo, what happened?
Probably.
And they arrested him there. And he was actually sentenced to 29 to 89 years in prison for building the bombs. It's a long time.
How old was he?
I think he was in his late. Yeah, the article said he was 31 years old at the time, so young guy.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah. But, obviously you can't really throw a dude in proper prison when he just blew himself up. You're entitled to medical care even if you're a criminal.
Yeah.
That's usually how
you're
it works.
A human.
So they took him to the Bellevue Hospital, and they have like a prison wing in there. They put him in the maximum security section.
Okay.
And in May of 1979, during his sort of trial experience and just kind of waiting to heal to go to actual prison, someone smuggled him in a pair of 14-inch wire clippers.
Whoa.
And at some point during this time, he also took his bed sheets and whatnot and manufactured a rope out of it, right?
Oh my gosh.
He was on the 3rd story, I believe.
Oh my god.
He was 40 feet up.
Rest in peace, Liam Payne. Sorry,
Wow.
guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3rd story.
Yeah. So the person who probably smuggled his clippers in was his lawyer. I think her name was Susan Tipograph.
Tipograph.
She went by Tip. She was a lawyer for a lot of radicals of the day, people of this caliber.
Dang.
So apparently she smuggled it into him. She denies it, of course.
Well, yeah,
She's
she
never
didn't
been
do
caught
it.
for it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this guy, who had just blown 9 of his fingers off, had his face blown up, like his eye was messed up from it, couldn't see.
Okay.
Somehow used these clippers. Keep in mind, like
Big clippers.
you need hands to. They're 14 inches. They're huge.
You can do this.
And he cut open. I guess, but
You just have to be really good at like balancing it. I
Yeah.
think I could do this.
but like doing this in a
Next
maximum security
episode,
zone.
we're getting 14-inch clippers.
We're blowing Trista's hands off. And we're gonna see if she can. We that would actually be like a really good,
Prank? What?
bonus episode? Like,
No.
Can we do it?
Can we do the clippers?
Like put on like mitts,
Yeah,
like mittens,
or
and
just like hands, like this.
yeah, just tie them up and just see what you can do.
I think you can do it.
Okay. I mean,
Again,
gotta find out.
hands, hands.
so he cut open the window gate, opened the window, and he on his little blanket rope. He kind of just shimmied his way down 40 feet
with no hands.
with no hands. Apparently, at one point, he fell and hit something. Still, apparently, the loud noise of someone falling didn't cause any alarm, and he escaped. So, he was apparently helped by other left-wing militants at the time. There's a group called the May 19th Communist Organization, and they had sort of underground wing.
Yeah.
They helped him escape. But like, dude,
That's
how do you
insane.
climb down 40 feet, cut open a window, fall, still survive, escape successfully without hands? That's kind of crazy.
You know, like those ribbon acrobats that like wind like their feet up in it and like use them as like a handle. What if he was secretly in another life
in his past
rope
life, he was a rope dancer.
and he just unlocked that and channeled his inner rope dancer?
Yeah, he's like, this
If he
this
fell,
bombing
I don't-
stuff is kind of old.
I think if he fell, maybe it wasn't a good connection.
No. But he still made it out. He actually
That's clutch.
still hasn't been caught. He
That's
fled to Mexico.
crazy.
He was found in Mexico. Had a shootout with police officers in Mexico. Was imprisoned, and yet they released him and let him go to Cuba. a couple years later. So he's in Cuba right now, just straight chilling.
Having a good time.
Yeah. He's there with
him.
Tupac and Biggie.
Oh my god. No.
Nah.
You know, when I upload the podcast, they ask me if there's any like misinformation on it or like lewd jokes. I think that this counts.
Yeah. For clarification, that was a joke. It wasn't a lewd joke, but it was a joke. So it's not misinformation if it's a bit.
If it's a bit.
But who knows? We don't know where Tupac and Biggie are currently
Beyonce.
located. Yeah.
It's a bit.
So a man with no hands.
Did that.
Go the way
You're
you're moving.
moving.
Got me in a trance. DJ turn. All right.
It's him. He's that guy.
It's probably what he made the song about.
He can do it with no hands.
He did it with no hands. This man escaped prison with no hands. So guys, if you ever go to jail, just remember you can do it. You probably have hands.
And don't smuggle any turtles across borders.
And probably don't make bombs. Probably don't.
That's a really good message.
That's
of this
like,
podcast.
don't do that.
That's
Don't
our
do
number
that.
one message.
Because you might blow your fingers off.
2 mugs. Don't do bombs.
Don't do bombs. Don't smuggle turtles.
That's our.
Don't do anything
shtick.
illegal, man.
Yeah.
It's because it's crime.
It's bad.
Can't do that. It's illegal.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Clink.
Cheers.
Bye, guys. Thanks for 2 mugs.
Happy Halloween. Thank you for tuning in. Tune
Pumpkin
in next
mug.
week where we talk about
Something we don't know about.
something we don't know about. It's a surprise to us, just as it is for you, man.
And that's what's fun about this.
And that's what's fun about it.